Good afternoon. My name is Mike Murray. I'm a partner with the law firm of O'Donnell Weiss Mate. We have offices in both Pottstown and Phoenixville. We're a full-service law firm servicing the entire western Montgomery area. With me this afternoon, I have a new attorney in my office, Tip McCabe, and I'd like to introduce him and let him tell a little about himself.
Thank you, Mike. Been practicing law since 2006, went to Villanova Law School. My primary practice is in litigation, both civil and criminal defense, so I handle municipal law matters.
Very good. And so Tip is available at O'Donnell Weiss Mate for any of your litigation needs. With today's program, we're talking about tax assessment appeals, real estate assessments. We've been doing this program on here for about 7 years now, discussing what an assessment is, what the process is, and what you need to do to be successful. Your taxes, your real estate taxes, are based on the assessed value of your property. The assessment that's placed on your property is on your tax bill, which you'll be receiving your school tax bill in the beginning of July, and that assessment is not indicative of fair market value of your property. That is a value that is supposed to provide what the value was at the time of the county-wide reassessment, which occurred approximately in 1996. For this tax year, that value on your tax bill should equate to approximately 52% of what the true fair market value is of your property. I recommend that every year you take a look at that tax bill, you contact me or another attorney like Tip at O'Donnell Weiss Mate. We very easily could run a computation for you based on that assessment to determine at what value you're being taxed on your property and determine whether it's worthwhile for you to proceed with an assessment appeal that could potentially save you thousands of dollars in taxes. I'll give you an example. In 2002, I moved into my new home. I did the calculation for myself. I moved forward with an assessment appeal, and I was being taxed on a new construction home as if my property was worth almost double what I had paid for it. I obtained an appraisal on my property. I proceeded to the Board of Assessments on an assessment appeal, and I was able to reduce my taxes approximately $1,200 a year. And I've been saving that money since 2002. So I've been in my house for moving on 17, 18 years now. So you multiply that over that time period, I've saved probably close to $20,000 at this time over that time period.
Now, Mike, you mentioned an appraisal. Can I, it's 2018 now, or can I just use the internet to just look up comps and see what, my house might be worth on Zillow or other equivalent websites?
Not as evidence at the hearing, Tip. I mean, that is a good starting point, and that's often what we use to, I guess, do a cost savings way of doing a first step in determining what the value of your property is. We take that assessed value, do the computation with the common level ratio, and then use things like Zillow and other comps we could find on the internet, and even ask you, what other things in your neighborhood have been selling at. And for example, if the calculated value that I come up with based on the assessment was $300,000, I would say, Tip, what are similar houses in your neighborhood? Are they selling near $300,000? And you'll say, well, no, in fact, they were selling for around $220,000. If you told me that, then I would say we can move to the next step. The next step would be to engage an appraiser to do a true valuation on your property that we could use as evidence. You indicated, could we use the values we find off Zillow or Realtor.com as evidence? And the answer is no. They're not taking the next step. They are comparable, but they're not giving the true value of your property, and your duty to provide the board is what the value of your property is, not the value of somebody else's property. You would have to take that next expert analysis that the appraiser would do by taking those comps and taking the different factors based on those comps to give the value of your own property to use as evidence in that hearing.
Thanks. So if we do get an appraisal with a professional appraiser, and we're taking that next step to the board. What happens at the board?
Well, at the board level, and by using an attorney such as one at O'Donnell, Weiss, and Mattei, we would go down to the hearing, present that evidence on behalf of you at that hearing so that you wouldn't have to take time out of your day or work. Because if you do them yourselves, you would be put on a list and sit down there. It could take half a day. Oftentimes, they give the attorneys all their hearings together. I would go down, I would present that evidence on your behalf, I would run through the comps, I would have a discussion with the appraiser prior to the hearing to really know the ins and outs of what they were basing their analysis of, because the Board of Assessments could ask questions related to the information at appraisal. We would present that information, they'll take it under advisement, and approximately 2 weeks after the hearing, they would render a decision, hopefully reducing your assessment on your property. Now, once a decision is made on the assessment, that doesn't automatically reduce your taxes for that tax year. If we filed one during this window right now, it would impact all of your taxes beginning January 2019. Okay. So there's no way of saving you from, I guess, the tax bill will come out in July for the school tax this year, but it wouldn't impact your municipality and county tax bills, which come out the beginning of the year, and then the school tax bill that would come out in July of 2019.
Okay. And what happens if can the board decide that my taxes are too low?
Yes, I mean, that is a possibility, but that's why you do the analysis up front. I will tell you that in the, I guess the 20 plus years I've been practicing there, that has never happened on an appeal that we've actually proceeded to a hearing with, because you at any time up to the hearing can withdraw your appeal. You would have done that analysis up front to make sure that that isn't a possibility, because the only evidence being presented at that hearing is your evidence of value. And you know, if we saw that the appraisal came back higher than the calculated value, then we wouldn't move forward with that hearing. So by following through with an attorney and doing the proper analysis, there's almost no chance that could possibly happen.
So that's why it's better to use an attorney than just Google.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
I will let everyone know that the filing of an assessment appeal, there's a window for filing in Montgomery County and Chester counties. That's between May 1st and August 1st that it has to be filed. The hearings would be held sometime in September, with a decision rendered sometime in early October, and then that would impact your taxes beginning in January. Berks County, their filing window is a little different. It's between July 1st and August 15th. And again, it impacts, the hearings again would be held sometime in September, and get a decision in early October, and will impact your taxes for the 2019 tax year. Well, it appears that that's all the time we have at this time. We want to thank you for joining us this evening. The attorneys here at O'Donnell, Weiss, and Mattei are always here in the community to represent and help you. Thank you.
Thank you.